Space Wolves are not Space Marines. Oh no, they're Xenos. Time for a wolf waffle. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time for another wolf waffle, and in this one we're going to talk about Space Wolves not being Space Marines. So I hope it's going to be interesting for you. Now, as always, these are just chilled chit chats, nothing too heavy. So I really hope you enjoy it. I have my cup of coffee ready to go. And before I get started, I want to do a little shout out because I received a parcel from my wolf brother Mythos, a fellow Legion of Gamza member, and he sent me a parcel of woven bits, a huge parcel of woven bits. So I'm now all stocked up with woven bits, so I can finish all the conversions that I need to do. So a huge thank you to Mythos. Now Mythos runs the channel Frost and Fists with his partner in crime, Freak. Awesome channel. Mythos is into Space Wolves and Freak is into Imperial Fists. So if you like Space Wolves, if you like good banter, great videos, and the two nicest guides probably on YouTube, then go and check out the channel. The link is in the description below. Go and check it out. Right, so yeah, Space Wolves. Now, as you know from the first video, I play Space Wolves, 13th Company, which were back from the Eye of Terror a long time ago. It was my second army, and my first army was Necrons, and when I was looking for a second army, I wanted something to contrast Necrons quite heavily. Now at the time, I was looking at Orcs, Speed Freaks, and I was looking at Eldar. That was when you had to buy your different Craft World codexes, and I was looking at Samhan Eldar. So those were the two armies which I was looking at. Now I dismissed the Samhan at the time because of the flying bases, and this was way before I knew anything about magnetizing. I had all my Necrons and flying bases, all the destroyers and stuff. I just didn't want another big bulky army to store, so I disregarded them. Speed Freaks was almost a go, but it didn't quite happen because the Eye of Terror Codex came out. I spotted the Wolven, and the Wolven had these Venrisian wolves. They were very much geared up for close combat. I mean, the current Space Wolves is nothing to what the Wolven used to be. I say the Wolven 13th Company, and I decided to go for that because I thought that would be the total contrast of my Necrons, which at the time were just mega shooty. I mean, Necrons nowadays you can make quite a decent assault army. Back then they were basically a shooty army. So I went for the Space Wolves, and the thing that really drew me in was the actual Venrisian wolves. I thought that was so cool. Now at the time I didn't know I was a Xenos player. It's only over the years, as I've gradually got more and more armies, like Tyranids and Eldar and Dark Eldar, that I realised actually I like Xenos. And the draw in for me for the Venrisian Wolves almost makes me think that Space Wolves are actually a Xenos army. Now bear with me, and I'm actually looking forward to all of your comments on this particular episode. So yeah, I view Space Wolves as Xenos. I mean, their gene seed is an animal. I don't think, now I'm not particularly familiar with Space Marines, but I don't think there's any other Space Marine chapters that have a gene seed of an animal. I could be wrong. But yeah, they're werewolves, they're wild, they have wild dogs, they have huge thunder wolves. You can't get much more Xenos than that. Yes, okay, you've got a Space Marine effectively riding that thunder wolf, but it's a thunder wolf. For me, visually, when I see Space Wolves, certainly my style of Space Wolves that I've got, in particular the 13th Company, it really feels like a Xenos army. Now, okay, if you had Terminator Space Wolves in drop pods and Land Raiders and just the sort of normal stuff that you can take with Space Wolves, then arguably they're not a Xenos army. But in particular, my army, my 13th company, I view them as a Xenos army, to the point that you don't know if they're good or bad. They've been locked in the Eye of Terror 10,000 years. Have they been tainted by chaos? I really like that, and that's actually what I like about some of my other armies, like the Eldar, for example. I like actually physically in the Codex where it says that although Eldar are basically good, if you want to put it in terms of good and bad, they could quite easily stab you in the back. And I think it actually says those words in the Codex, that they will stab you in the back. And I have a lot of fun with that, especially when we're playing like a 4-way game or a 3-way game with my buddies. Just a fun game, and maybe we're allying as teams, and we always joke, oh yeah, well the Eldar are going to stab you in the back at the end of the game. But anyway, that's just a side point. So yeah, I think Space Wolves, in particular 13th Company, are a Xenos army. That's how I view them. Now, of course, anyone that's just jumped onto this video, maybe just to find out more about Space Wolves and Space Marines, what the differences are, what sets them apart, then I suppose just like any chapter that isn't from this normal Space Marine Codex, like for example Blood Angels, they have their own unique stuff. So in the Blood Angel Codex you've got the Bow Predator, you've got Death Company, and obviously in the Space Wolves Codex you've got the Thunder Wolves, you've got the Fenrisian Wolves, you've got the Storm Wolf. So you've got different units that you can't get in the actual normal Space Marine Codex. And that's, I think, where you've got to look to try and make your army. If you want it to be a Space Wolves army, if you want it to be a Blood Angels army, you need to start looking at the units which normal Space Marine players can't take, because that's the thing that sets you apart. Sometimes my buddy will play a Blood Angels army, and he'll have a Blood Angels army, but it'll have exactly the same stuff that he could have had if he was just playing normal Space Marines. Okay, you might get a couple of special rules that are different, but I mean the physical models, so for me that's almost not a Blood Angels army, because you haven't got those unique Blood Angels things in, and I think it's the same with Space Wolves as well. Obviously, yes, you can take what they called Predators. You can take a Predator whether you're a Space Marine player or whether you're just a normal Space Wolf player. And obviously there are some overlaps, but I think on the whole, you want to take advantage of all your special stuff. And that's why when you see Space Wolf armies, generally they're either full of Thunder Wolf Cavalry. Thunder Wolf Cavalry are pretty good, but also they're unique that Space Marines can't take. And then of course you might see one of the drop pod formations as well, just because that just helps. It's a good formation basically where all the drop pods are objective secure. So yeah, I think that is quite a key thing really. If you're making your own particular army, let's just say you've just got into Space Wolves and you think, well, I'm looking through the Codex, what should I take? It's worth having a look at a Space Marine Codex and seeing what's in there, seeing what units you've got that they don't have. And that is what a Space Wolves army is all about basically. It's about those units that aren't in the Space Marine Codex. It doesn't mean you can't fill out some of the slots with a duplicated item, especially if you like it. I mean, if you like the Predator, for example, you could put a Predator in your Space Wolves army. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the bulk of your army, though, it's a good idea to have the units unique to the Space Wolves. Otherwise, what's the point in playing a Space Wolves army? So, I am very interested to hear what you think about what we've just talked about. Do you think Space Wolves are Xenos? Do you view your Space Wolves as just another Space Marine army? When you play against Space Wolves, does it just feel like you're playing Space Marines? Or does it feel like something different? And how about 13th Company? Have you ever played against a 13th Company army with Fenrisian Wolves, Thunder Wolves, No tanks. Remember, 13th company can't take tanks. Let me know in the comments below. Very, very interested to get your feedback, and let's have just a general chit chat in the comments box. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that bell button to make sure you can keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.